Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to ETS2. Welcome back to Pomezania. We are driving still with the Scania R4 series. My absolute favorite. Still cannot get enough of it. But today we'll be doing some Q&A to change things up a bit. I've been checking out the questions. Looks like we have some that are pending. So let's go and do those. We'll be starting things off in Malbork Piaski. Here over in the east, and we'll make our way towards Linky, but I want to pass through the new area in 1.2 version of the Pomezania map. I think it's this leg right here. Yeah, that might be an interesting one. So this is going to be, hopefully, a chill highway route journey today. Anyway, let's go and hear the sounds. The sounds themselves received an update. This is from Zeemod, his Scania V8 sounds. Even more crisp now, with lots more refinement in there. Oh, beautiful. Right, let's start things off here. We are carrying 20 tons of used packaging, driving manual today. Let's see if I can manage to talk and drive at the same time without causing too many incidents. Highlight on too many. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Thank you for the questions that you've been sending in. And if you have a question for me, question that you want me to tackle on one of these kinds of episodes, feel free to ask them. There should be a link below in the video description to the Google Forms, where you can post your question and then you can say your name as well, or you can remain anonymous if you are the shy type, so no worries there. More than welcome either way, right? Anyway, before we jump into the actual mod updates, what other updates, or to the Q&A rather, let's do some mod updates first. What mod updates do I have anyway? Well, not really much. I've been enjoying the truck. I've been working with Zeemod in the background as well. Thanks Zeemod for trusting me enough to help me test out and try out some upcoming versions before you release them. Must say I'm not the best critic though, because I'm loving his work, so I can't really distinguish the subtle differences that he puts in, because for me it's all like a perfect score already. And his tweaks make it even better, but for me they're all perfect already. So not the best at that, but at least I can appreciate them for sure. Exit through here, please don't. Good. Yes, absolutely loving the sounds. Absolutely loving the graphics as well. The lighting is just amazing. And if you guys have seen the recent blog post from SCS, it looks like Iberia is coming soon. They have given a ballpark release date already. In that latest blog post, SCS is saying that they are expecting to release Iberia by April. Sometime this April, so that should be just 1 month from now if everything goes according to plan. We will see. But yeah, it's going to take a while still, but I would expect that version 1.40 should be ready before then. And I don't know, based on how everything looks, 1.40 seems to be very stable now. I think there's only one major issue left, which is the echo in the tunnels, the reverb. I think that's still not been fixed. Because initially I thought it was a Zeemod problem, because I've been using Zeemod sounds only, and I thought his sounds didn't have any reverb, any echoing under the bridges inside tunnels. But apparently it's not only Zeemods, it's all sounds. And regardless of which one you use, it's still going to be pretty basic when it comes to when you're going into the tunnels. So it's a bit of a shame, but I think that's the only thing that's left to fix, and I would doubt that's hard to fix because they didn't really change anything in the sound engine from what I know. So things should be all lined up for a public release soon enough. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it works that way. We will see soon enough. Anyway, glad you guys are enjoying the videos recently. Well, you've always been enjoying the videos, so thank you for your constant support. But maybe even more so now. I definitely am, because I'm driving my favorite truck and I am driving with now my favorite sounds. Oh, and it looks like Zeemod is also posturing for a new sound mod again. He's working on new sounds. He's a very busy guy, and looks like he is planning to release a new sound for ATS this time. Oh, what's the name? Was it a Cat C14? I forgot the engine sound. I'm not familiar with it. I don't think I've heard it before in other modders. So we'll see how that changes things. But I'll definitely be trying it out as soon as I can. I think he's planning on releasing that sometime in April from what I've seen in his post. But we'll see. We'll see if that changes indeed. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Everything else seems to be taking shape. No complaints with 1.40 except for that reverb. So for me personally, I would say we are ready for a full-blown public release. We'll see if that happens anytime soon. But maybe they'll be delaying it a bit to make it maybe close to the Iberia release. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, based on the lighting that you're seeing right now, for example. So good, right? So natural looking. I have not had any craving for graphics mods yet, as I drive through these vanilla graphics. The only graphics tweak I have is the NVIDIA Profile Inspector tweaks. It's not a mod per se, but it's a tweak. It improves the anti-aliasing, which is a bit lacking, to be honest, at the moment, if you are going to rely on in-game graphics. But with NVIDIA Profile Inspector tweaks, it helps a lot. That's the ROX thread that I have been suggesting all this time. So yeah, still no reverb as we can hear. No, still no reverb in tunnels. Speaking of tunnels, thanks to Scan for helping me out a bit. You guys might be familiar with that question I had recently about the map editor and the limitation of the bending tunnels. You see, we have bending tunnels here. So how that is a limitation, or how that was a limitation. So Scan from the Pro Mods team was kind enough to show me some pictures, some step-by-step on what that means from a map editor point of view. So now I understand it. And as I understand, that's actually not a limitation anymore, because SCS recently released a new asset that allows for curved tunnels basically. So that shouldn't be a limitation anymore. I think, what was the term? Curved roads or something. But it's nice. Thanks, Scan, for the nice gesture. When I woke up, there was 28 messages from him, and I was like, oh, what is this? And then I saw all those step-by-step stuff and screenshots. I'm like, oh, nice, now I get it. Cool. So thanks again, Scan. Appreciate the effort you put in there. Anyway, so let's go and start with the questions. We have a question from Jälitänne. I hope I read that right. They also asked a question before, which I answered, and now they have a new one. So they ask, would you like SCS to expand ETS2 or ATS? Like better graphics, bigger map, new trucks, or should they build a new trucking game from the ground up? Yes, I have a certain opinion about this one with how things are going recently. And it might not be the popular opinion, but this is my opinion, so I'll share it anyway. I'm not sure about ground up. I don't think I want them to restart everything, but maybe it will have to be that way. But in general, if I were to choose between the two, I would choose the second option, the latter options. that is building a new trucking game from ground up. Because as much as we've seen how much ETS2 and ATS have improved over the years, I mean, this new graphics lighting update from 1.40 is just amazing. But having said that, the graphics engine is still pretty old, and it's getting updated bit by bit. But in a way, SCS is also limiting themselves, I think, in that point of view, because they have their hands tied a bit when they stick to the base game, when they stick to the ETS2 and ATS game, because there is that implicit agreement. It's not really like a formal agreement or a promise from them, but there is an agreement that an understanding, maybe more like, that when they create an update, when they improve the graphics, they have to still make it compatible for those with lower end PCs. Yeah, because basically if you've been able to use and play ETS2 before, after the update you should still be able to play it without any impact. And that's great in a way, because it allows low-end PCs to still keep playing, but that really hamstrings what SCS can do. They can't just go all out and increase the graphics or change the engine, or they can't revolutionize what they're doing currently. They can only improve in incremental steps. A few better textures here, a little bit better lighting here, and all the time they have to think of, will the old PC still work? Will our system requirements still be the same? So they can't really go all out, as opposed to creating a new game, ETS3 or ATS2 or World Truck Simulator WTS or something, Global Truck Simulator GTS, or like that. If they create a new game, they will not have their hands tied. They can say, okay, this new game of ours, we are saying these are the system requirements. So other people, older players, will not be able to complain that, why doesn't it work for my PC anymore? Because it's technically a new game now. So you cannot really expect that your old system requirements will work here. You know what I mean? So it's like a different playing field altogether. Previously, I was very much in alignment or agree with their decision to keep this old game and continue upgrading it, because the results have been amazing, right? But especially with this lighting update, it kind of dawned on me, as much as it's great with the updates that they're doing, they are getting very limited. I'm sure they can do so much more if they don't have that limitation, and I would gladly pay for another new game. I mean, with all the work they're pouring into this, I think they deserve that payment. So I would happily pay for a brand new game for a full price, even a AAA price. Because just look at your Steam libraries, guys. Look at how many hours you've driven ETS2 and ATS. Add them up. I'm sure many of you will have 1,000, 2,000 hours in there. And you buy this for how much, right? So buying a new game that has quote-unquote no limits, at least less limitations than what we have currently here. Because as much as beautiful as this is, we still have the problem with the draw distance, the mirrors not having shadows or reflections, the reflections being low quality, lots of graphics limitations there, and I'm sure SCS can fix those. They can improve that by, improving their engine or upgrading it totally, but I'm sure it will have a severe performance impact. And if they try to optimize things, yes, for sure, they can optimize things, but it will still require a beefier PC. They cannot stick with the old system requirements. And in my opinion, or at least what I think, as long as they stay with the old game, they will always be limited by the old system requirements, unless they're able to say somehow that, okay, as of this version, we are increasing the system requirements. So if they're okay with doing that, then I have no complaints with them sticking with the existing game. My only concern with them sticking with the old games, with the existing games like these ETS2 and ATS, is they can get limited in what they can do. So if they can remove that, if they can untangle themselves from the old system requirements fully, then sure. I believe they've been doing that bit by bit. Like, for example, when they moved to DirectX 11, right? I think DirectX 9 is no longer compatible. So yeah, they are upgrading it bit by bit. So I think, who was it in Discord? I think it was Bao Bao and Lucy. We're talking about what the system requirements are in the Steam page of ETS2. And it's super old school. Like, I don't think that's the legit system requirements anymore. So to be fair, I think the system requirements are increasing bit by bit, but they cannot completely untangle themselves from it. So they can probably, like, increase the system requirements a bit at a time. Maybe incremental updates that improve the graphics and push the graphics engine a bit more, and that increases the system requirements a bit, a tad here, a bit on this update, a little on that next update, and eventually it would be a completely new game altogether, what would feel like. But I think it would be more productive, and this is just my personal opinion, I think it would be more productive for them if they just create a new game and don't care about those limitations anymore. I don't know, maybe it's just my selfish guy thinking, but wouldn't it be nice if they can devote their full effort into creating an even more beautiful game than this one, and overcome those limitations: draw distance, missing shadows, better reflections, better anti-aliasing, definitely, at the cost of increasing the system requirements. Yeah, maybe. Although there is a point about optimization as well. And that being said, this game is not the most optimized. If you look at other AAA games, the optimization is very far apart. It's optimized on its own. Like, in a way, it is optimized. It's not just as optimized as a AAA game, maybe you could say it that way. Because right now, my 3080 is getting taxed to the fullest, 95-96%. Granted, we're getting pretty good frame rates, but still, it's it has some very inefficient ways of rendering, some old school ways, and there are some newer ones that can be implemented. But yeah, it might require multiple threads, it might require better graphics cards or whatnot, so I don't know how that works. So, but yeah, if you were to ask me, I would, is that a floating post? Pavlon might need to fix that. That's the only one though, the others are all okay. But yeah, I think in general it would serve them better if they can forget about keeping it on the same requirements, so they don't have to limit themselves when they think of new features. Because I don't know if they have that kind of discussion, but I can imagine that's going to be somehow, or that has been how their discussions have been like, we can add, let's take the Skybox example, right? In the beginning of the 140 beta, we received new skyboxes, and I think SCS has been squeezing in new skyboxes as we go. And I've been seeing better looking skyboxes, but in general, they're still a bit low quality. Like when you zoom in like that on the clouds, you can see the pixels. You can see it becomes very pixelated. So it's not the highest quality textures, skyboxes. And I believe SCS actually mentioned it that way. They specifically said they did that purposely so that people with older PCs can still play the game. And that makes a lot of sense. That's very considerate. Yeah, but it limits their potential if you think about it. If they can find a way to make it compatible with all using different graphic settings, then that would be the best for everybody. People with high-end rigs can go all out, max it out, highest quality textures and everything. People with less powerful PCs can lower down the settings. That's the way it should be. But that means more work, more options to implement. So yeah, right now we are kind of being like what is that? Least common denominator? Something like that along those lines. So they are very considerate about their audience, and they want to make sure that everyone has access to the game at the cost of improving the graphics, going all out on the improvements. I think that's an accurate way of putting it. But if they start a new game, they can let go more of that kind of limitation, and they can really make this as good looking, as nice as they are imagining it to be. Sky's the limit. Anyway, so let me know what you think about that. I'm sure others will have different opinions, and that's the great thing about these Q&A episodes. We can chime in our opinions, and we can have healthy discussions. Not that SCS will change anything about their plan, but at least we can pontificate. Is that a fancy term? We can think about, we can dream about how they can do stuff. So thank you for the question, Jälitänne. Hope I'm reading your name correctly. Right. NL actually has a question for us as well. NLProductions, and not NL Naturalux, okay? NL is his name really. NLProductions. It's a constant. He's been a long time member of the community. Thanks for the question. Is there any place in your home country that you've always wanted to see but have never? Oh crap! The question cut off. I don't see it in my view. Okay, I'm going to assume. I'm going to try and complete that. Is there any place in your home country that you've always wanted to see but have never gone to in real life, I guess? Maybe I should check that out, huh? 1 second. Should I risk it? No, I don't want to risk alt-tabbing and crashing the game. The game has been pretty unstable for me at times because of all the plugins I'm using, when I'm recording and stuff like that. Sometimes even when I just go to the menu, it crashes randomly. So I try not to fiddle with it as much as I can. Well, yes, there are many places in my country, my home country, the Philippines, that I have never been to before. And I have plans on still going to them in real life. But me and Mrs. Clumsy, we thought about it, and we probably will do that when we go back to the Philippines, if we go back. Because right now we're living in Singapore. We want to stay here as much as we can, but we never know until when. Because sometimes the policies can be strict, and sometimes you never know. So it's a bit of a question mark. But if we can, we want to stay here as much as we can. But if a time comes that we have to go back home to the Philippines, then we said maybe let's save all those destinations that we want to go to and go to them when we are based there again. Because right now it's a bit complex, because technically I am an overseas worker. And when you're an overseas worker and you go back to the Philippines, there are some requirements that you have to fill out. And interestingly, yeah, it's a bit more complicated to go back home and leave once if you're working in a different country. Like there's more paperwork and it's a bit more complex. So I won't bother you with the details, but yeah, coming from Singapore, going back to the Philippines requires to fill out more paperwork basically, because I'm working abroad in Singapore. So to avoid that kind of hassle, me and Mrs. Clumsy, we thought maybe let's save up all those destinations that we want to go to and let's go there when the time comes that we have to go back. We'll see if that changes. But anyway, with how the world is right now, I don't think we'll be traveling anytime soon. I like this. I like these barriers. Are these custom? It's very nicely done. As always, Pomezania does not disappoint. I've been enjoying this entire trip, just babbling and sightseeing. The highway has been very, very calm with very subtle, very stable bends. Even the country roads here, you can see the bend just slowly bending to the right there. And you hardly have to move your steering wheel at all. This is what makes this map such a pleasurable map to drive in. It feels so real that way. And of course the placement of the objects. Everything just combines into a very believable picture. As realistic as it gets. Lovely. Good. So yes, we're planning to go to them, but not right now for sure. Not right now. Now I'm not sure if that has any relation to simulators because it's not that the question got cut off, but my view of it got cut off. So I can't see the whole question. But I'm just going to answer it in a different way anyway. I'm going to put the simulator context in there. Because there is someone that is actually working on the Philippines as part of a map mod for ETS2. So someone is actually working on that. It's still in a closed beta phase, I think, and I haven't been able to get in yet. I still have to reach out to them and let them know I'm interested, but I definitely will be checking that out. And yes, I would love to drive in the Philippines here in the sim to show you guys what I'm talking about. Maybe they can replicate the Manila traffic as well. I'm not sure which exact areas they're working on, but it would be great to see. And from there, I'll have at least a real life comparison. Oh, this is really how it feels like driving through here. Oh, this is really how the traffic is, or otherwise. But normally, as I drive through these roads, I'm always an outsider. Doesn't matter which country it is. Poland, Germany, Japan, UK. I'm always the outsider. I'm always the guy exploring new stuff and just taking it for what it is, enjoying it for what it is. It would be nice for a change if I can really chime in and add my real life experience into the place. Like, oh, this is really how it should be. Yeah, because right now I can barely do that. In most of the places I've been to here in the sim, I have never been in real life. There are some cases where I have been, but not long enough to really understand or really be able to compare the sim in real life. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So thanks for the question, NL. I hope I answered that correctly. I'll review it later and I'll just laugh if I got it all wrong. But it's the thought that counts, right? Okay. Jälitänne has another question. How do you feel about Tesla Semi, and would you like to drive it in real life? In real life, probably not. I wouldn't want to drive. Well, I would be interested in driving a truck to get the feel of it. But I wouldn't want to be a truck driver because truck drivers have a very hard job. Always out on the road, risking their lives and being our modern day heroes. I'm not that much of a hero. But I would love to drive one just to experience it. Yes. And yes, Tesla Semi. I'm not sure about Tesla itself. It has been getting a lot of traction recently. Their stock prices are through the roof. They have a very very outspoken CEO. Yeah, and their stock prices are through the roof. Their company value has really gone up. Although that's stocks, and with stocks, it's not a direct reflection of how the company is really doing. It's a direct reflection of how people think the company is doing, or something like that, right? So I'm not sure. I don't know about Tesla specifically, but driving electric trucks in general would be interesting. Would be nice to see and feel how the difference would be. There are some already, right? Scania, Volvo, I think they have their own. Mercedes, they have their own electric trucks already. I've been seeing that in the channels, in their social media feeds. And for shorter distances, I think they have that. I think even Fuso has an electric truck. I remember, who was it? Was it Scan or was it... no, someone... Was it Crazy? I can't remember. Someone in Discord linked me a video of a Mitsubishi Fuso, Jack's favorite. A Mitsubishi Fuso small truck that is all electric. Perfect for those intra-city deliveries. Can go up to 100 kilometers, I think, on fuel, fully electric power. And yeah, I have no... well, I guess my only reservation about electric trucks is not really about practical stuff. Well, maybe a bit. Because, yes, electric trucks are good because they are more eco-friendly, right? Less carbon emissions. But it has to be an end-to-end kind of thing, as you guys helped me realize before when we discussed this. If, for example, the truck itself is electric, but the manufacturing of this truck is powered by coal or something else, so it has to be an end-to-end kind of thing, from how the truck is manufactured, from how all its parts are manufactured, how the electricity is produced, and how the truck is itself. All of them have to be eco-friendly, otherwise you're just transferring one pollution to the other parts of the chain, which can help in a way, I guess. It could at least take away the pollution away from the city and back to the plants where it's less populous, so maybe that will help. But you know, for me, yeah, the electric vehicles make sense if it's an end-to-end kind of thing, and otherwise, but maybe that's the goal, right? You can't really arrive there immediately, but you take it one step at a time. You do it incremental bits. Love that view. Beautiful. 60 here. Okay, let's slow down. Just the engine brake slow us down, keep us at 60. Loving all these bends. Oh, and we're almost here. 50. Keep right here. I think I have to do the right turn signal. Yes. But yeah, the roads in Pomezania are really amazing. Beautifully done. Now, where do we turn? Next junction, I think. So yeah, electric vehicles, I think, will be the future. Getting more and more there. And that's great. The only thing I'll probably miss are the beautiful sounds. Although in reality, I guess you wouldn't want such a loud truck anyway because you'll go deaf. But in terms of being in a simulator, you want them to be really booming, like what we're hearing right now. So that's the thing that I will miss the most with electric trucks, I think. And hopefully they'll find a good compromise there. Maybe they can fill the... I think some of the manufacturers actually do that. They spit out fake engine sounds from the speakers to give you that feel that you are still driving a conventional car. Maybe that can work. Hire Zeemod so he can create the engine sounds. So even if you're if you're driving an electric truck, you're still hearing those very booming sounds, and you can customize them, tweak their volume, and you're the only one who can hear them. It's only inside, so you're not bothering anyone. You can jailbreak all the way, you know, use his DD60 series sounds and jailbreak all the way, or his Cummins N14 with the legendary jailbreaks, and you're the only one who's enjoying them. You're not bothering the people around you. Even if you're driving in a residential area, you would be fine. That would be cool. It would be something like kind of fooling yourself, but in a way, in these simulators, aren't we all doing that? So why not, right? Why the heck not? That could actually work. This parking area is pretty familiar to me. Let's hope we can do that the same way. Beautiful sounds here. That should work. Maybe turn a bit sharper so that we have more space later. And then we can even that out here. Like so. Maybe. I love the idle sound of this engine. Just gurgling. And yes, this new tuning from Zeemod is really nice. The balance is spot on. The previous one that I've been trying, it was very bassy, which I like. But for those who are looking for a better balance, I think this one is overall better. That could work, yes. Thank you. Yeah, can end it there. Awesome. Let's hear the parking brake again. ASMR, just got goosebumps. Awesome, guys. I can take that. Alright, for the trailer, let's get our money. So thank you for the questions, guys. I will continue next time when we get enough questions again, so keep them coming. Remember, check the video description for the Google Forms and post your questions there, and I will make another Q&A when we get enough questions to get it started. Thanks for watching Clumsy Trucking, and catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.